I think that one of the biggest mistakes traders do is believing that making money is the finish line. Well, it is not. Making money is only half the game. Protecting it is the other half. And the funny thing is most traders spend years learning entries, risk management, psychology, liquidity concepts, market structure, and a lot of other technical skills related to trading. But nobody or almost nobody spends time talking about what happens after the payout arrives. Just think about it. You pass the challenge, you get funded, you start receiving payouts, maybe it's just a few $100s or maybe it is thousands of dollars, it doesn't really matter. The question is, now what? Where does that money go? Which is equally important, if not more important, compared to making the money in the first place. For me personally, that's become an increasingly important question over the years, because after spending thousands of hours on learning how to extract money from the markets, the last thing I want, and it should be the last thing that you want as well, is being careless with the money that you earn. So today I want to show you exactly where some, or I should say most, of my trading profits go and why I have started using Tangem as part of my crypto security strategy. And you might believe that this video has to do only with crypto, but it doesn't have to do with crypto alone, so pay close attention to what I'm gonna tell you. Now, before we begin, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy or not to buy. I'm simply sharing what I am doing and what I believe that every trader should be doing, which is start thinking about security. Because traders, at some point your focus changes. At the beginning, you are obsessed with just making money. Later on, and this is the wisest and the hardest part for most people and most traders, you should at least be obsessed with how you are keeping the money that you are making. And those two are two completely different skill sets. When I first started trading, all I was caring about was becoming consistent. Could I become profitable? Could I pass a challenge? Could I get funded? That's all I thought about. But once you start receiving payouts and once you understand that you are good in the game of trading, then your perspective completely changes and you come to a point where you realize that every single dollar that you have made represents hours of literal work. Hours of studying the charts, hours of losses, hours of disappointment, hours of frustration, and many years of learning. Every payout has a story behind it, and when you look at it this way, then you realize the importance of keeping those profits, or at least keeping those profits safe. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where hacks happen, phishing attempts happen, accounts get compromised, people are clicking on a scam link, and the biggest mistake is people storing all of their money in just one place. And of course, sometimes that's enough. That's why I am a huge believer of reducing unnecessary risk when possible. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still using exchanges. When I'm storing my crypto, exchanges are perfect for buying, selling, and trading. That's literally what they are designed for. Nonetheless, there's a difference using something only for transactions and using something for storage. I want you for a moment to think about cash. You might carry some cash in your wallet, but probably you wouldn't keep all of your life savings inside your wallet. The same exact principle applies to crypto, and it goes further than that as well. This is exactly why cold storages like Tangem exist. The idea is pretty simple. You maintain control of your assets, you reduce exposure, and you create another layer of protection. So naturally, I started looking into cold wallets and learning what a cold wallet is, and what honestly surprised me is how complicated some of the cold wallets that I was looking into were. Cables, buttons, screens, updates, it was an absolute mess. Some of them felt intimidating even for people who are already familiar with trading and crypto. Then I came across Tangem, which is also what I want to talk about in this video. Now, what immediately stood out to me was the simplicity. And I think that simplicity is massively underrated when it comes to cold wallets. Because let's be honest, the most secure system in the world is absolutely worthless if people are not able to use it. Tangem looks more like a bank rather than a traditional hardware wallet. You simply tap either the cards that you receive or the ring against your phone using NFC. Now, for those of you who don't know, NFC stands for Near Field Communication, and it is the only way to get access to your crypto. No cables, no charging, no tiny screens, and no complicated setup processes. Everything with Tangem is extremely simple. Now, the initial setup takes only a few minutes, and for me, that's a huge advantage because it removes friction. And if something is easy, people are more likely to actually use it. Of course, convenience on its own, it's not enough. That's why I wanted to understand security as well, which is the most important factor for me at least. And this is where Tangem becomes extremely interesting, and I want you to pay very close attention. The card or the ring contains an EAL 6+ secure chip. That's the same level of security used in banking systems, in passports, and many other high-security applications. Just to give you a little bit of understanding of how powerful this chip is. Your private keys are generated inside the chip and never leave it, which means that they are not floating online, they are not sitting in your email, and they are not stored in some cloud server. They just remain protected in the device. And for someone who values security and someone who understands security, this is extremely important. Now, everybody's situation is different. Some people are long-time investors, some people are active traders, some people never touch crypto at all. But personally, I don't like having all of my assets in one location because I don't like unnecessary concentration risk. When I receive my trading profits, I decide to allocate some of them, or I shall say the majority of them, into crypto, including stablecoins, and I want a solution that gives me both control and also security. That's where Tangem fits into the process, because they are quick, they are flashy, they are secure, they are simple. There is nothing complicated with using Tangem. It allows me to store assets with the highest security possible without making it a full-time job. And as traders, you know that we already have a ton of things to think about, and the last thing that we want is even more complexity. Now, the truth is that becoming profitable with trading is an exceptional achievement on its own, and most people never get there, or they will never get there. But once you have made it, and once you are receiving consistent profits from trading, a new responsibility arises. And this is protecting what you have earned. Because the goal, and remember it, is not just making money, it is also keeping it. It is an equally hard, let's say, skill, if not a more important skill, as I talked about it previously. For me, Tangem has become part of this process. A simple way to add another layer of security to my crypto savings, and honestly, I think this is exactly what every single one of you traders should be thinking about. Now, during my live streams, many times I'm also showing my crypto holdings, and we are discussing crypto investments at the very same time. And if you would like to check out Tangem for yourself, I have left the link below in the description. If you finally make the best decision of your life and purchase the Tangem cards and or the ring, it's not necessary that you purchase the ring as well, of course, don't forget to use code ChrisFX in order to receive your discount when making a purchase. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you do with your trading portfolio? Are you also investing in crypto? Are you holding any of your money in stablecoins? If you hold stablecoins in Tangem, it is way more secure than holding your assets in a bank, and that's why I believe, or at least this is what I do, this is something that everybody should be doing. We should be spreading our assets in many different places, and we shouldn't be having them concentrated in just the banks. If the bank wants to shut down everything tomorrow, they will do so, and you will not get compensated, or at least you will be compensated partially or just a very tiny amount of your investments or your savings. So let me know in the comments if you're already using a cold wallet such as Tangem, or if you're aiming to purchase such a wallet and use it. And also let me know if you're generally moving your earnings into investments, because again, in my opinion, this is the smartest thing that somebody can do instead of leaving the money in a bank, which again, in my humble opinion, creates a very false sense of security. I would love to hear your thoughts, and of course you can join the daily live sessions and we can discuss about all of those things. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in our next video.